I used to wake up every single day convinced I just need to work harder at my corporate job. Like, if I work super hard, then I'd get exactly what I wanted out of life. I'd get my promotions, I'd save enough money, and then one final day, when the timing was finally right, I'd quit, become an entrepreneur, and build something of my own. But here's the embarrassing truth. Corporate didn't delay my dream, I did. And the day I realized what was actually happening, it changed everything for me. And I'm going to tell you the exact mindset shift that made me stop treating my job like the destination and start using it like how I actually should have in the first place. And it's going to sound so obvious, you might think I'm being dramatic, but stick with me because this story gets weird, like really weird. So there's this trend online right now where people are posting what their lives look like in 2016, like 10 years ago. And seeing those posts instantly took me back to my life in 2016. So I was at Deloitte, high-paying consulting job, the kind of job your parents proudly tell relatives about. I was crushing targets, working insane hours, and feeling, important. And I remember one day I was chatting with this much older family friend who was quite rich and well off. And I remember bragging about how busy I was and how I was building my future. And he said something that made me pause. He goes, "Okay, but what do you actually own?" I almost laughed. I was like, I'm building skills, I'm building my resume, I'm building credibility, and I'm building my network, And he goes, no, I mean, what do you own that gives you outsized returns? Like something that can grow exponentially, something that can make you money while you sleep. So the first two of those statements didn't really make sense to me. I was wondering, what is he talking about? But the third one, where he spoke about making money while I slept, I was like, whoa. I just stared at him for a bit because I had no answer. That question actually got me thinking. Like, most people think working hard at their corporate job is how you build freedom. But the brutal truth is, a job doesn't give you freedom, it gives you stability. And stability is nice, don't get me wrong, but stability and freedom are not the same thing. And it's because a corporate job has two built-in limits. First, your income is capped. No matter how hard you work, there's a ceiling to how much you can earn. Like, you can crush your targets, outperform your peers, take on more work and responsibility, but at the end of the day, you're still operating inside a salary band. And second, your time is rented. You're exchanging hours for money, which means the only way you can earn more is to work longer hours, and not all companies, kind of support that. And even then, the upside is peanuts in the grand scheme of things. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. If your plan is work hard until I retire, then you're basically betting your entire life on a system that was never designed to make you free in the first place. And I'll prove it with a simple example. So think of one person who who's genuinely wealthy. And I don't mean comfortable, and I don't mean just doing well, I mean actually wealthy. Does that person still clock in every morning because they have to? No, right? Exactly. Because that's not how wealth works. Like, wealth doesn't come from clocking in, wealth comes from owning something. Something that gives you exponential results, something that makes you money while you sleep, something that lets you retire when you want with a serious amount of money. And this brings us to retirement. And I'm sure you've dreamt of early retirement at some point. And I'm not talking about the eat instant noodles, cancel Netflix, and live within your means version. I mean real retirement, where you can fly business class without stressing, you can order food without checking prices, and you can help your family without hesitation, you can buy back your time, you can take risks, you can breathe, all without having to work. Now that's the dream, right? Now think about this practically. Put an actual number against that lifestyle, and then ask yourself honestly, can a job, even a super high paying one, realistically get you there? I can bet my brown bottom that the answer is no. Okay, that phrase sounded so much better in my head. Anyway, so here's the mindset shift that changed everything for me back then and got me to build my first business while I was employed. My job was not the plan or the end goal. My job was just the fuel, the safety net. And the only thing that creates real freedom, financial freedom, is equity. Owning something of your own. Something that can grow without constant pressure, can compound over time, can give you outsized returns instead of a linear paycheck. And this could take the form of a business you own, something you invest in, assets that appreciate, anything that isn't directly tied to your time. Now you might be thinking, I'll just invest in stocks then, or I'll just buy real estate or crypto. Yes, you can do that and you should do that. But, and it's a huge but here, the uncomfortable part is that for most people who weren't born rich, a salary alone won't give you the liquidity or the capital or the amount of money to buy enough equity to actually retire. And that's because salaries aren't designed to make you wealthy. They're designed to be predictable. They're designed to provide you with stability. And because investing in real estate requires serious capital to make a dent, the most realistic option you have early on is to build something of your own. Because in that case, your time, skills, and value can produce exponential results. And what's wild is almost everyone has thought about building something of their own at some point in their lives. jobs. And I'm sure you have too. It could be a business, a brand, a side income, a restaurant, a cafe, something of your own. But most people never act. They wait for a perfect idea, or they wait for the right time, or they wait to feel ready. And I think that's a massive trap. So let me be very clear. I'm not saying that jobs are inherently bad. And I'm definitely not telling you to quit your job. That's like the fastest way to turn ambition into anxiety. What I am saying though is use your job the way you're supposed to, as a safety net, as a cash engine, as a testing ground, so you can experiment while your bills are still paid. Because you can't build something substantial when you're desperate. Trust me, I know. And if you keep waiting for, the right time, just know that time doesn't pause. Time doesn't wait for anyone. One day you're 25 or 35 and figuring it out, and then suddenly you're 45, 55, exhausted, and the risk just seems massive at that point. And the regret hits even harder. And then you realize you just spent 10, 20, 30 years preparing for a life you never actually started. So here's my challenge to you. For 1 week, just 1 week, every time you do something that isn't your job, it could be scrolling, Netflix, random plans, ask yourself one brutal question. Is there something I could work on right now that would give me outsized returns or help me build equity? Not, is this fun, or do I deserve this right now, or is this relaxing? Think, is this helping my future self in ways a job never could? Because that's the line between stability and freedom. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Trust me, I know. And if you want help doing this without overcomplicating it, I built this unique framework called I2R, Idea to Revenue. It's for ambitious people like yourself who wants to build something of your own that makes you significant money alongside your 9 to 5. The goal with the framework is to help you get to your first 10K month in 3 to 6 months, all while working only 10 hours a week. It's not clickbait, it's not going to be a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's not about quitting a job. It's about building leverage while you're still employed. I'll link the free mini-series here that'll help you get started. And if you've stuck around till now, drop OWN in the comments and share with us some of the challenges you face when it comes to this. Thanks for watching, and remember, a job can fund your life, but only ownership can free it.